Do you want to tell people what is the biggest advantage of going in the middle of and shooting on a real location?
Kashmir kind of demands that you go to what is authentically Kashmir and not just the filmy version of Kashmir. Not Kashmir just as a backdrop.
Gaurav Arora joined this car. What is the selection procedure? What is the collaboration with them? Is it a brief and then you give them the full pictures or what?
जो गौरव का पार्ट था, आई थिंक सबसे लंबा डिस्कशन जो वेंट ऑन फॉर दिस, स्पेशली फॉर गौरव अरोरा's part.
We must have auditioned
more than 70-80 people I remember for this part, because अगर विलन नहीं अच्छा नहीं होगा ना तो शो बनेगा नहीं. That was the whole idea.
Today I saw you directing and yelling from top of a second floor. There was chaos everywhere. He's saying he likes these kind of locations. What about you?
This is the demand for this show, is the demand of to keep it as real as possible and be it in this thing.
Right.
But shooting in real locations always have a challenging the real crowd and everything, but when you see on the screen, it adds a lot to it.
Right.
The crowd, the people, the costumes, and even a lot of realism it adds.
What has happened with Tanaav from season 1 to season 2 now, and started with Sudhir and now with both of them, is that this Tanaav unit operates like a family.
Yeah, I've been
You know,
hearing
so
this.
there's lot of like in a family,
Right.
there's a lot of friction and lot of emotional drama,
I'm
but it's
the
also
temporary
very,
guy. They all
it's all very strongly bonded.
Gentlemen, welcome to Bollywood Hungama. Thank you for having us in Srinagar. We visited your set, so thank you, for having
Not
us.
at
It was a
all.
great experience just to firstly see Kashmir, meet the people. Big thank you to you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, sir, I'll start with you only because just for a common man to understand, if you buy the rights for Fauda, does it work season by season? You can renew it. How does it work? You buy all the rights for.
When we buy the rights to make a show like Fauda,
Yeah.
then you obviously buy the first season. But the way the deal is done is that it is automatic. If you're doing season 2, then we will do season 2 and season 3.
Okay.
Also, if we do season 1 and 2 and then don't do 3, the chances of somebody else doing 3 are very slim.
Okay. Right.
So usually it just sort of goes together. And there's another phrase called co-terminus, which is that the rights of the first season last till the end of the fourth season
Okay. Okay.
as it goes along.
Right. And
So-
also it depends on the performance, how the season is
How the
received.
seasons do. I mean, listen, this business is quite straightforward, that you make a show, you put a lot of hard work into it, and then it's got to go out there and audiences have to see it, and then they have to like it, and then the platform's metrics must be met as to whatever are their parameters and, what they are looking.
Right.
To get, and then if all of that comes together, then you do a subsequent season
Okay.
and a subsequent season. So I think it's a repeat order business in that sense, and to that extent, we must sing for our supper
Yeah,
each
absolutely,
time.
absolutely.
So I think that's what we all do.
Right. Right. सर आज हम आपके शूट लोकेशन पे आए थे रियली नाउ आई गेट एन आइडिया कि इतने रियल क्यों लगते हैं शो बिकॉज एंड यू आर समवन हु लाइक्स टू यूज रियल लोकेशंस डू यू वांट टू टेल पीपल व्हाट इज द बिगेस्ट एडवांटेज ऑफ गोइंग इन द मिडल ऑफ एंड शूटिंग ऑन अ रियल लोकेशन
see, every story demands a context, right? In this case, it's Kashmir, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, then Kashmir kind of demands that you go to what is authentically Kashmir and not just the filmy version of Kashmir. Not Kashmir just as a backdrop, but a real, alive, palpable, living Kashmir, right? So, and then every scene demands a good location, right? I mean, in order to express it. So it's just following the good old rules of cinema, And we are very happy to have come here.
Yeah.
It has given the series a very good context.
Right.
Like Sameer often says, we didn't want to make them and us show, right? So it's about not two countries.
Right.
It's about one country. It's India, right? So therefore it's not about two religions. So Daron is called Kabir Farooqi.
Right.
It's all very deliberate, right? So all that, and if you do all that, then it has to be put in the right place, the right locations, and that is difficult. For example, where they were shooting today is a really difficult location to shoot. And why would you shoot there? You can go into some alley in Kashmir and with a mountain in the backdrop and do something, right? And put an artificial shop somewhere and something else somewhere. But then that's not Kashmir.
Right.
right? That doesn't tell you, and these are the things that create the Tanaav.
Right.
You see the Tanaav, the tension, and the grit of it all. And, it's also, in a sense, a thriller. So, I mean, that those rules also have to be adhered to. No?
Right. Every filmmaker comes with it from a different school of filmmaking. When you collaborate with someone like him, one is what is the common ground where you all come. Today I saw you directing and yelling from top of a second floor. There was chaos everywhere. He's saying he likes these kind of locations. What about you?
See, this is the demand for this show. Is the demand of to keep it as real as possible and be it in this thing.
Right.
But shooting in real locations always have a challenging. The real crowd and everything, but when you see on the screen, it adds a lot to it.
Right.
The crowd, the people, the costumes, and even a lot of realism it adds.
Yeah.
So we don't mind to get that realism to go to that kind of challenges.
Right.
So Father required, Tanaav required.
Right. It required that. Right. Fair enough. Right. King of casting, Mukesh Chhabra is also here. Mukesh, a show like this really requires that.
ये क्यों king है हम लोग नहीं हैं
वो casting
Let's go.
का, casting.
Why is he not a king? No, he spread this myth of
And we have bought it also.
अरे actors, I mean, they say you meet actors on the road, they say अच्छा सर तुम्हें मुकेश छाबरा के पास जाओ ना बोले सर उससे कैसे मिल सकते हैं आपसे तो मिल सकते हैं
आप इतना वक्त नहीं देते हो लोगों से मिलने का काम ही करवाते रहते हो मुझसे डिफिकल्ट शोज देते रहते हो कास्ट करने का
Right. Mukesh, a show like this really requires it's say features of actors. Are these things into consideration? Like you like you say, for example, Gaurav Arora joined this car. What is the selection procedure? What is the collaboration with them? Is it a brief and then you give them the full pictures or what?
आई थिंक यार ब्रीफ तो ऑफकोर्स डायरेक्टर ऑफकोर्स आपको देते हैं बिकॉज क्या है ब्रीफ के साथ एंड सुधीर भाई मेरा एक एसोसिएशन बहुत पुराना है इवन विद समीर भाई ऑल्सो कई सालों से है हमारा एसोसिएशन आई थिंक ब्रीफ को फॉलो करना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होता है और ऑफकोर्स हमारे डिस्कशन होते हैं एंड वी कीप डिस्कसिंग विद ई निवास ऑल्सो हम लोग सब बैठ के बहुत डिस्कस करते हैं ऑन ईच एंड एवरी कैरेक्टर ऐसा नहीं है कि बोले कि इसको ले ले ऑफकोर्स हमारे फाइट होते हैं डिस्कशन होता है वी डोंट एग्री समटाइम ही एग्री समटाइम वी फाइट समटाइम तो ऐसे ही वो चलता रहता है एंड जो गौरव का पार्ट था आई थिंक सबसे लंबा डिस्कशन जो वेंट ऑन फॉर दिस स्पेशली फॉर गौरव अरोड़ा's part more than 70-80 people I remember for this part because अगर विलन नहीं अच्छा नहीं होगा ना तो शो बनेगा नहीं that was the whole idea and we were so confused किसको कास्ट करें and we wanted completely fresh feel also not overseen actor also who look also hero and also the villain also the charming and the good voice तो बहुत सारे जो उसके पैरामीटर्स होते हैं जो कास्ट फॉर समथिंग लाइक दिस आई थिंक दैट्स वेरी 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 डिफिकल्ट दैट पार्ट एंड फाइनली वी गॉट इट एंड गौरव वाज फैंटास्टिक वी ऑल एग्रीड आई थिंक इमीडिएटली वी ऑल एग्रीड आई थिंक आई रिमेंबर सिबल सेड इसको ले लो
a series of tests no you do a series in that so I mean we all end up in his place because it's such an important cast no I mean
I also want everyone yes because it's a collaboration ना I can't say कि take him हम लोग सबको डिसाइड करना पड़ेगा we'll all agree then we say कि yes
ultimately we have to work with him so we also have to figure out whether we can
it's very important
sometimes we may be brilliant but you can't work with him
Because
many too great you can't work and also may be a great DOP I can't work with him just because so there has to be some
connection.
He may just not like my work and it's his right. He may just say, no, I don't want to work in this kind of cinema.
And also, can I say something? Because when you cast for an ensemble series, you have to make sure how, as an actor, how the person they are is very important. We were shooting with them outdoor for more than 60-70 days. I always make sure that they should be a nice person also. It's very, very, very important.
They need to get along.
Don't get that call and say, किसको भेजा?
किसको भेजा?
They need to get along.
You need to,
production. I know also everyone should be happy because कि इसको इसका खत्म काम करे भेजना नहीं है. I think वो very important होता है to cast for the ensemble. Very important कि everyone like each other. The great bonding with everyone. That's very important. I'll make sure कि मुझे लगा कि this person is not, he is a good actor but his behavior is not up to the mark. I will not cast him.
Right.
And what has happened with Tanaav from season 1 to season 2 now, and started with Sudhir and now with both of them, is that this Tanaav unit operates like a family.
Yeah, I've been
You know,
hearing
so
this.
there's
yeah.
lot of like in a family,
Right.
there's a lot of friction and a lot of emotional drama.
I'm
But it's
the
also
temporary
very
guy. They all sort of
it's all very strongly bonded as a group of people,
Right.
and that is why actually we are able to do what we do, shoot in these conditions, shoot, do this kind of realistic, gritty feel, work in places like this,
We've
work
been
with such a
here.
diverse
We've been here
cast.
since the 12th of
I
September.
heard 2 months, right?
And also, I know, and when
So
you
it's not easy, yeah.
and the per day feeling you also get over कि per day वाला tension खत्म हो जाता है. चलो यार तुम shoot करो I'm here.
Right.
It's very
when
important.
you join a cast, when you join a group like that, what is that like? Is it immediately welcoming, or you take your own time to get in sync?
Of course, we take our own time because I've been introduced.
Did
to
we
this
welcome
word.
you?
Yeah,
I've been introduced to this word because I'm glad that I got this opportunity to work with Sudhir sir and then to work further because like many people who are fans of our
Right.
I'm the greatest fan, one of the greatest.
Yeah.
So when I got to know about the making father,
Huh.
him when he then I was like waiting, okay, they'll call me sometime. So I couldn't call. But I'm glad that
Right.
I got recommended by this show.
Right.
I remember you're also doing some show. मैंने बोला what you doing? I said I'm doing father. कुछ और करेगा नहीं. Waiting for father. I remember how excited you were.
Right. So when you're setting something in Kashmir, is it also somewhere a big responsibility? जब ये लोग देखेंगे, उनको there's no way they can get upset. Is that a conscious?
I feel that a lot.
Yeah.
I feel that a lot, and sometimes they get very unreasonable because of it. Because then sometimes Samir will say, "Sir, तेरी जिम्मेदारी नहीं." We also feel it. Yeah, तू क्यों drama कर रहा है just तेरे? But I'm burdened because of my background and the political nature of my being, and my friends from the other side and this side and that. All that plays on me a lot.
Okay.
So I'll say it again. If anyone else aside from Samir Nair had told me to make Fauda, I wouldn't have.
So you see correct intentions.
No, because I know that what I'm saying he shares.
Right, he shares that. Right.
And what he says, he can convince me. I mean, you also have to have a person. I mean, I'm not always right? So, I listen to the right guy, but
You're talking about ideology.
हाँ, कुछ तो होगा ना. Common उसमें.
And also
वो है.
ये casting में भी आजकल मैंने बहुत notice किया है because when I'm casting for something like this, actors also started asking, is it against or a favor?
Yeah,
Against their ideology or not
A lot of
ideology?
people in the beginning didn't do the show because they thought
Exactly.
that we would do it like that. Lot of people, some people, and we're not going to name people, but I'm just saying, and they are right to have that apprehension. I mean, because
उनको लगा one-sided होगा.
one-sided
Yeah, because
होगा.
they rejected, and I called them and they said no, we were not a part of something like this.
Because they are scared.
I don't know. There
No,
can
they're
be many
scared.
reasons.
They
Right?
may be scared of this or scared of that.
This one.
And it was very now because
Beautifully balanced in the season one.
Yeah, that was beautifully balanced. Right.
Two nations.
And again, as Sudhir says, it's all deliberate.
Very deliberate, and we have worked very hard on it. I mean, to keep that context going. And one of my greatest achievement, what Samir applause and everybody is very proud of, is that nobody from Kashmir has
Right.
come to us and said there is anything. There may be a difference of ideology, right? Of film, but nobody has said that you have not been
Correctly
faithful.
portrayed.
That's a very big achievement, I have to say. In today's times, it
So
is.
like we've been here from last 2 months now, literally shooting.
Huh.
So wherever we go, I think entire Kashmir has seen Tanaav. So everyone, whoever I know we are shooting season 2 Tanaav, means everybody has already seen Tanaav. When is it coming?
Right.
So I think Kashmir.
And I'm foxed. I mean, I walk anywhere, people know me. So I don't know how.
But
Yeah,
that,
they
why are
don't
you
know.
surprised?
No, they don't know me everywhere else. So I was really surprised for a while.
Having done so much work in 2023, you still feel you're recognized for Tanaav.
No, I'm just saying.
Right.
No.
Right, in places like
Kashmir, I mean, it's not really the Hazaro Paisa audience, right? I mean,
can I tell you? I'll tell you
I have a
because
pretty
reality check,
appreciation
yeah.
of myself.
Right.
No?
Lastly, to you, there's a huge audience that's seen for the first, second, every season. You are giving them this. Do you see do you see people like me? What is in for us that we'll see the same thing again and again? Of course, they get their talent, and that's why we end up seeing it.
Well, actually, there are two things. One is when we do an adaptation like Fauda into Tanaav, it is being made for a larger Indian audience. It is not necessarily being made for the audience that has seen Father.
Right.
That's the first thing,
Okay.
which is a much larger
दोनों को
audience.
दिखाना है.
Audience though is much larger.
Right.
Now, with regard to the audience that has seen Father, what we are doing is that we are reimagining that story.
Okay.
Like how all stories are reimagined. You know, people often tell me about this adaptation. If it's already been made, why would you make
Why
it
would you-
again?
yeah.
Well, people have been remaking Shakespeare for
Romeo and
500
Juliet,
years,
yeah, it's
right?
true.
For 500 years, they're still
Right.
making the same
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
right? Martin Scorsese won his only Oscar for Departed,
Right.
which is a Hong Kong movie called Infernal
Yeah,
Affairs.
yeah.
So, you know, I don't think there's any. I think stories, good stories, are universal and must be retold.
And timeless.
And they must be retold because that is how it gets to larger audiences.
Right.
You make one story in one language and say, okay, I've done it, and that's the end of originality. I think we are doing humanity a disservice.
Yeah,
I think we should tell stories again and again in newer and newer ways, in newer and newer contexts, because that's what takes the story forward.
And what is originality? It's a point of view only, ना? कहते हैं कि गालिब का है अंदाज़े बयां और इतने कहते subject matter और कहानी और it's a way of looking, no?
It is.
So, I mean,
Right. Fair enough. King of casting, king of direction, king of OTT production house. Thank you so much.